Hello.
Yes, sir.
Should we start? Smriti,
Yes, sir.
as you told, should we start now or 10:30 exactly? We will start 10:30. Okay.
It is already 10:30.
It is already 10:30. In my watch, it is 2 minutes more required to be 10:30.
Okay, okay.
Okay, we can start because T. Satish sir is there.
Uh,
Not yet.
no,
I.
no, sir.
Okay. Okay, please. Uh, you can start.
Good morning, respected dignitaries, esteemed guests, my dear colleagues, and dear friends. A warm welcome to you all to the virtual platform of Arkajan University for the celebration of National Pharmacy Week 2020. The Indian Pharmaceutical Association has been celebrating the National Pharmacy Week every year during the third week of November. The major focus of National Pharmacy Week celebration is to create awareness amongst the public, other healthcare providers, and the authorities about the National Pharmacy Week theme in particular and about the pharmacy profession and the role of pharmacists in general. So, moving the event forward, as morning begins the day, in the same way, let us begin this event by having our auspicious lamp lighting ceremony in front of Goddess Saraswati.
सा सा रे सा नी नी सा रे पा पा रे गा मा 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 गा मा पा नी धा 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 सा पा 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 नी मा मा गा मा गा मा गा मा पा नी सा आ आ आ मां सरस्वती शारदे मां सरस्वती शारदे दूर इस अज्ञान उदध से दूर इस अज्ञान उदध से वीणा पानी तार दे तार दे तार दे मां सरस्वती शारदे मां सरस्वती शारदे सूर्य ब्रह्म शिव विष्णु गजानन जिन चरणों को सेवते हैं सूर्य ब्रह्म शिव विष्णु गजानन जिन चरणों को सेवते हम शिशु है अज्ञानी माता इन चरणों का प्यार दे वीणा पानी तार दे मां
Next, moving to the event forward, may I now request the Dean
This is sir. This is sir.
Pharmacy.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Please.
Ravi. May I now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir Professor Dr. S.S. Raju, to kindly address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Well, good morning to all of you. Well, I'm thankful to the Department of Allied and Health Science, um, where you are going to organize today the Pharmacy Week. Well, as a matter of fact, thing is that any nation, whether a European country or an Asian country, the country will prosper when the economic condition of the country is good, when good education is being imparted to the student, and health care taken by the government. Well, you all know that we are meeting online in the pharmacy week. As a matter of fact, due to pandemic, we are meeting you online. Otherwise, every year we do have such program where we see the different faces of our student, the faculty members, the guests, those who are going to attend the today's program. I'm really thankful to the guests, those who have given their valuable time for us. Well, as I said, that the nation will progress when the good health is there for the countrymen. Now you have seen during the pandemic that the health is important, and the particularly the medical science and the pharmacy has given us a hope in our country that soon we are going to have a vaccine. Every country is, doing something in order to have the vaccine. Our country is also trying its level best. Well, a week back only, I came to know that the Serum Institute of India, they are in association with Oxford. They will be able to produce 1 million of the vaccine by March. You know that the demography of a country, we know that in our own country, India, the population is growing. And that is why we say that the birth is taking place very fast. But here I would like to tell you that no doubt in it that the birth rate is increasing, but the death rate has decreased. Why the death rate has decreased? It is just because the medical science that has improved a lot, and where you are being given the different medicine when we felt sick. Well, I see the face of Dr. Prashant is here, Dr. Sahu, who is the dean, who is here, Dr. Shweta, she is here, and Smriti ma'am, she is here. They are all doing research, and I have seen the good number of papers they have produced. Every month, they are producing 1 or 2 papers. This is really one very good thing that you people, the Department of the Pharmaceutical Science in our own university, Arka Jain University, the teachers are very efficient. They are very capable, and they impart the knowledge to our student very well. Practical knowledge is being given to the student. I have seen the faces of the student. I met various students in the Department of Pharmacy. They are doing very well. the result that has come, and I have seen the result. Some of them, they got 9 percentile or 9.4 percentile. So this is not a very easy, but they are, studying very hard. And if you study hard, then in that case, the teacher will be encouraged. And that is what a teacher needs. As I told you that the Department of Pharmaceutical Science of Arkajan University is very rich. Why it is rich? It is due to the teachers, those who are going to, those who teach the student. And we have already started the classes in this session. We have started because the students were also, in need to have their own new classes, and the teachers were ready, and that is why we have started the class. Uh, well, with these few words, I'm thankful to the School of Allied and Health Science under the leadership of Dr. Sahu. And as I mentioned, Smriti ma'am is here, Dr. Shweta is here, and Dr. Prashant is here, and other faculty members, those who are here, will guide you further. Thank you very much. So, Ranjan.
Thank you so much for the words of inspiration from your side, sir. It's always a blessing to us to have you in our each and every event. So next, taking the event forward, I would now like to request the backbone of School of Pharmacy, Dr. Jyotirmaya Sahu, Dean, School of Health and Allied Sciences, to kindly address the gathering and kindly tell about the event in brief. Over to you, sir. Yes, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Respected Vice Chancellor, sir, and dignitaries, Honorable Director and Registrar of Arkajan University, my dear colleagues and students. Welcome to 59th National Pharmacy Week 2020. It gives me immense pleasure to announce that we School of Pharmacy Arkajan University is celebrating a full week 59th National Pharmacy Week virtually due to pandemic COVID-19. And simultaneously, we are also fortunate to have with us eminent great personalities whose contribution for this noble profession is definitely a landmark for the forthcoming generation and also the ongoing. To grace this occasion, dignitaries from industries and research we have with us are Sri S.V. Viramani, CMD, FUTS India Limited, Laboratories Private Limited, Chennai. Mr. T. Satish, Vice President Regulatory and Corporate Support Tablets India Limited, Chennai. Mr. Mohammad Yunus Siddiq, Retired Senior Laboratory Technologist, Tata Men Hospital, Jamshedpur. Dr. Badal Bhakat, Joint Director of Care, Support and Treatment, Division of Jharkhand State AIDS Control Society, Ranchi. Dr. Ravindranath Padhi, Research Professor and Head, Central Research Laboratory, IMS, Sam Hospital, Shiksha Anusandhan University, Bhubaneswar. Once again, a hearty welcome to the reverend dignitaries. Every year, the National Pharmacy Week is celebrated in the third full week of November to acknowledge the invaluable contribution of pharmacists. For the awareness of the profession, this National Pharmacy Week is celebrated by all the pharma fraternities from industries, academia, research, regulatories, etc. Pharma students are preparing for their careers in acute and ambulatory settings. They are the profession's future leaders and healthcare providers. The major focus of National Pharmacy Week celebrations is to create awareness amongst the public, other healthcare providers, and the authorities. Every year, there is a theme designed by Indian Pharmaceutical Association for National Pharmacy Week, particularly about the pharmacy profession and the role of pharmacists in general. This year, the theme has been kept for 59th National Pharmacy Week is the pharmacists, the frontline health professionals. The society should realize the need of pharmacists and recognize their responsibility. Reality is that pharmacists are the real designer for fabrication of drug molecules, various dosage forms, delivery systems, which has equiparallel importance in healthcare as that of diagnosis and surgery. Matter of regret, society till today has not given that credit to the honored profession. Wishing all the best of 59th National Pharmacy Week 2020. Pharmacists, the frontline health professionals. Once again, I am thankful to all the dignitaries, respected Vice Chancellor Sir, Honorable Director and Registrar of Arkajan University, my dear colleagues and students, those who are directly or indirectly involved to empower the profession of pharmacy. Regards and thanks once again. Welcome, Mr. T. Satish Sir from Tablets Private India Limited. We are grateful to you, sir, to have the session with us today. Once again, welcome from my end. Good morning, sir. Thank you, Smriti ma'am. Smriti ma'am, please continue. Have a warm welcome to Mr. T. Satish sir from Tablets of India.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words and for addressing the event of today's. Arkajan University is really blessed to have our eminent pillars who have been our constant support and have been the backbone of this university under whom we are being flourished. So, may I request to kindly play the video of our eminent pillars who have guided us through our all the odds and events and have been a constant support in our every activities. Abhishek, please. Thank you. Now, may I request to play another video to have a small glance of Arkajan University for our eminent guest, Satish sir. Kindly play the video, Abhishek.
Whether it is school, higher education, or postgraduate or entrepreneurship, the discovery of mind is very important. Learning should be fun, learning should be creative, and we should try to assimilate thoughts in such a way, and this is where the youth is empowered here to see that he looks forward and tries to contribute not only for himself but to the society as a whole.
Bhutta Jain University, Jamshedpur, came into existence about a year back, that is 2017. I hope and pray that this Arkajian University, which came into existence about a year back, will be a center for excellence in the days and years to come, not only in India, but in international level.
Hello everyone. So Jan College in Arkajan University is a fascinating story. It's the story of basically ordinary people doing very extraordinary things. In a very small classroom, that the journey that we are starting with 34 students will reach here. That we will be conducting our commencement day in the biggest auditorium in the city. And that's how today we are here. So entrepreneurship is the DNA of the Arkajan University and the JGI group. If you look at the JGI group, we have incubated more than 100 companies, which has a turnover of more than 4,000 crore.
In Arkajan University, we want to focus on the students and the teachers. What we feel that when students come into the campus, then they should get a unique experience. We have produced many sports personalities.
We have well-equipped library like computer lab, engineering lab, fashion designing lab, mass comm lab and bioscience lab facilities for the students to enhance their practical knowledge.
Without setting the goal, nothing is possible. Kindly I request you, first of all, set the goal and try to achieve it. Arkajan University try to help achievement to your goal and provided highly qualified and experienced faculty.
One of the most important phase of every individual is the college life, where a teenager drifting into the ocean of new beginnings and possibilities.
I'm studying here since 1 year and I had a great experience studying in this university. I'm going to talk about the stereotype, how people think that girls cannot take admission in mechanical or electrical branches because it's totally made for boys, and this university broke this stereotype by giving admissions to all the students as girls or boys. They have equal opportunities for studying in all the branches.
Hello, here Dr. Jyotirmal Sahu, Dean of School of Pharmacy, Arkajan University. School of Pharmacy is trustworthy. You will definitely like the lovely campus in a pleasant environment with world-class infrastructure, well-equipped laboratories, library with large range of books and journals, highly qualified faculty. You are one of a kind, so are we.
I am a student of School of Pharmacy of this university. We are the first batch of B Pharma of 60 students of this university. But we feel no such pressure of the first batch because of the constant guidance and support of our faculty. And the best part, which I feel, is that we have a separate library for our department only with the best publications.
About my college, I would just like to say you that the truth of the college is something beyond it. Here with good education, you will learn moral and ethical values which will help you to achieve your goals.
Thank you. With a vision to empower talent through its innovative learning experience, Arkajan University Jharkhand intends to become an educational hub for millions of young minds across the country and internationally. Situated at first industrial town of India, popularly known as Tatanagar or Jamshedpur, named after visionary industrialist Sri J. N. Tata, founder of Tata Group, the university has evolved magnificently over the last few years. Arkajan University enlightens each and every aspiring student or higher education and career choices. Its ever-evolving and open-minded system encourages students to exceed expectations in their area of interest, thus guiding them to become ethnically sound individuals. Due to its quest for continuous success and resilience, Arkajan University Jharkhand is on its way to become one of the top universities in Eastern India. The university, which is spread across 25 acres, has left no stone unturned in providing state of the art facilities in various sectors, including education, sports, entrepreneurship, research, and in various other ventures. Carrying the event forward, pharmacist, a healthcare professional licensed to engage in pharmacy with duties including dispensing prescribed drugs, monitoring drug interactions, administering vaccines, and counseling patients regarding the effects and proper uses of drugs and dietary supplements. Wishing you all a very happy National Pharmacy Week 2020. Arkajan University National School of Pharmacy is highly honored to have Mr. P. Satish, M.Pharm MBA, FT, a Vice President in Regulatory and Corporate Support, Tablets India Limited. Is Vice Chairman in India Manufacturers Association. He was also the Chairman in Industry Institution Coordination Subcommittee IDMA Mumbai. He is a member of Nutraceutical in Subcommittee IDMA Mumbai. He is Honorary Secretary in Indian Pharmaceutical Association, the Honorary Secretary in IPA Industrial Pharmacy Division Mumbai. He is a member of Board of Studies in Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research to be University, Chennai. He is a Governing Council member in Tamil Nadu Pharmaceutical Sciences Welfare Trust. He was a past president in Rotary Club of Adyar. Firstly, we welcome you, sir, to the virtual platform of School of Pharmacy, Arkajan University, and it gives me immense pleasure to have you with us today. And I now request you to kindly share your words of wisdom with all of us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Can I share the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
A very good morning. Thank you to the Dean for inviting me for the inauguration of the National Pharmacy Week. And it gives immense pleasure, and it also takes back to my college days where we used to celebrate a lot of fun and a lot of responsibility of the National Pharmacy Week. And it's around 20 years now since we have missed the celebration. But we celebrate in our IPA every year, and it's unfortunate that we have to celebrate virtually this time due to the pandemic, but it is good. Anyway, the celebration is on. And I think this is the first event any institute would have conducted for a pharmacy week in the month of November, the first working day of the month, and the first event of the year would be this event, according to me. And I am honored that I am part of this celebration today. As already mentioned, I would be talking to you today on the Indian pharmaceutical and related regulation. one should understand as a student or as a faculty or as a responsible pharmacist, one should understand that Indian pharmaceutical doesn't mean it is only drug. It consists of many things, and that is what I'm going. It consists of many things that you should know, and which you should really understand when you as you move out of the college or while teaching at the college, and that will help you really to gain a grip of things as you hit the workplace after the college or during your college while teaching to the students. So the the coverage of my presentation is going to be like this. I'm going to talk to you in brief about, I am not going to take much of your time because regulation is a dry subject, and but it is also an important subject. Without this there is no industry surviving, or without knowing this it will not be wise enough to come and join in an industry as well. So I will tell, I cannot take you into entire forensic pharmacy today, but I am going to talk to you in brief about the different regulations that you need to know. The drug regulation, the food regulation. So that is what I was telling. Indian pharmaceuticals mean it is not only drug; it also includes food. Food in the sense it is nutraceutical health supplements, which also falls under our pharmaceutical regime. And the pricing regulation is something which many of them missed to know during the college days. You should be knowing that as well. And I will also give you a snapshot of other regulations governing the pharma industry. So, evolution of Indian drug legislation. This is basically any regulation or legislation is brought in is to regulate certain things. So, the drug regulation was brought to basically regulate manufacture, sale, distribution, and import of drugs, cosmetic, biological, medical devices, and other products. And later on, the preamble was tweaked to include also the clinical trials and establishment acts. The basic philosophy, sorry, the basic philosophy for bringing in a legislation or regulation is the manufacturer responsible for the quality of drugs manufactured by them, and the government and regulatory agencies will monitor the quality of drugs. It is like to be a citizen, and the police will monitor the others. It's something like that. And the principle is by a system of licensing under which all the activities involved in manufacture, sale, and distribution of drugs are controlled through a licensing system. You could see there are, I cannot say it is good, but it's not so in most of the countries. Every the pharmaceutical I mean pharmaceuticals is covered under one ministry, but in our country still there are many ministries covering. It may not be good in the longer run, but I mean the government is seriously thinking about bringing in a ministry of pharmaceuticals which will cover all these things under one snapshot. So the Ministry of Health, we have the DGHS, Director General of Health Services, and under him the CDSCO and the FFSI comes. CDSCO is Central Drug Standards Control Organization. FFSI is Food Safety Standards Authority of India. So CDSCO covers here the drug and FFSI covers here the food. Both comes under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Both these regulations are important as far as the pharmacist is concerned. Though FFSI has not started taking a lot of pharmacists, the PCA and other members have already written to them and they have include pharmacists because they are well known people about the drugs and its regulations and its manufacturing capabilities. Similarly, a food, there is no difference between a food and a drug as far as pharmacist is concerned. Everything is considered, whatever is consumed by human for health purposes is to be governed by pharmacists. That is the request that has been made. And Ministry of Science and Technology, we have the ICMR. You know, there are a lot of fundings coming from ICMR for the universities. And BARC is there for radioactive substance. CSIR, again, ICMR is now very, very well known to everybody because of thanks to COVID. because they talk more about COVID and drugs, and they also control the clinical trials and other things. So ICMR is now popularly known in papers as well nowadays. And CSIR is a typical research unit, and you get a lot of funds out of that as well. You will, some may or may not know that the Department of Pharmaceuticals comes under the Ministry of Chemicals and Petrochemicals, which is very heartening to know, but that's a fine reality. And the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority comes under this under the Department of Pharmaceutics, and they also control chemicals and petrochemicals. Why I brought in chemicals and petrochemicals? Because the bulk drugs are controlled under this category. Bulk drugs or the API, they have to be controlled under this ministry. Ministry of Commerce and Industry, patent and trademark is an important subject. So this is covered under the commerce, and under the Department of Commerce we have the Pharmaxil, which is the Pharmaceutical Export Council, which promotes exports of Indian drugs to other countries, and India is proudly, exporting to every country which is there in the world map, and India is that's why known as the pharmacy of the world. And there is the DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade. This is involved for various export permissions of your pharmaceuticals and drugs and other things. And Controller General of Patent is also there. And Ministry of Environment and Forests. While there are other, I have listed down. Everybody can read it. I did not go into details, but I would like to touch upon here and tell you that Ministry of Environment and Forest is also important for the purpose of getting an API license. You need to have a clearance from the Ministry of Environment and Forest. Environmental clearance is a must. And today, for each product that you manufacture, each API that you manufacture, we need to get the clearance from the Ministry of Environment, and that again controls the pollution, Central Pollution Board as well. So this is the snapshot of all the departments that we have, and you can read it for yourself. What are the functions of each of one of them? And CDSO is laying down standards, clearance of new drugs. ICMR is formulates, coordinates, and promotes biomedical research. And Genetic Engineering Approval Committee is there to manufacture use of genetically engineering organizations. And Department of Biotechnology is known. And Department of Biotechnology has been doing extremely good since its formation. And a lot of research has come, and that is why we are having a lot of vaccines. And India is the top country in the world. 60% of the vaccines are exported from India, and all the vaccine programs in the world are being supplied to the WHO or the UNICEF, are being supplied from India, and that is why Department of Biotechnology plays a vital role here. And again, atomic energy promotes radiotherapy and others, and BARC, promotes isotopes. DTAB, DTAB is basically Drug Technical Advisory Board. It was formed in 1950, and this is falling under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. And they meet very periodically under the chairmanship of the DGHS and the Drug Control General of India, to advise the central and state government on technical matters arising out of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. Any decision or any change in Drugs and Cosmetics Act can be done only with the help of only when the DTA majority of the DTAB members approve for that. And the president of the Pharmacy Council of India is a member, and there is newly an industry person also a member. I think Mr. The Rider Schedule chairman is the member in that, and a review committee on genetic manipulation and drug consultative committee. This drug consultative committee is basically an advisory committee to DTAB. Not every member of drug consultative committee comes under DTAB. Drug consultative committee is under the chairmanship of the DCGI, and all the state SLAs, state licensing authorities, are its members. So did you central, and this forms a platform to synchronize the central and state regulations. So as I told, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare comprises of three departments, which is headed by Secretary to the Government of India: Department of Health and Family Welfare, Department of Ayush, Department of Health Research. CDSU is a separate division which comes under the Department of Health, under DGHS headed by DCGI. FFSI is a separate authority. I mean, there is a difference. Division under DGHS is DCGI, where FFSI is an authority by itself under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare headed by the chairperson. Public health is one of the major objectives of the government of India, and to achieve it's important that drugs, vaccines are available to the public or quality, safety, purity, and efficacious. So let me talk to you. I mean, give us glimpse of what the FDA Bhavan does. The FDA Bhavan in Delhi, in Kotla Road, is basically a building for both drugs and food. Two floors of, two floors of drug authorities and two floors of food authorities. So both the CDSCO and the FFSI functions under this FDA Bhavan. Now coming to the CDSCO, that is our drug. Functions of CDSCO is basically approval of new drugs and clinical trials, import, registration and licensing, approving of blood banks, large volume parenterals, vaccine, recombinant DNA products and some medical devices as well. But that some medical devices has changed now to most of the medical devices. Previously there are only 9 listed in the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. Now we have a host of list of drug medical devices, and and we have a big plethora of there is new guidelines for the medical devices, like how we have for the drugs and cosmetics. We have a special special regulation for the medical devices now under the DCGI, and amendment to the Drugs and Cosmetic Act from time to time is also the function of the DCGI, looking at the conditions, requirements of the country at time to time. The amendments to the Drugs and Cosmetic Acts are being done. Banning of drugs and cosmetics based on adverse drug reactions or based on usage in other countries and based on WHO's advice. Banning of drugs and cosmetic acts is also done by CDSCO. Grant of test license to undergo research. Personal license if somebody requires to import drugs for personal use, and they also give NOCs for export. There are many products which cannot be approved in India for usage, but are approved in the rest of the world. So NOCs are given to export of those products based on the purchase orders given by the respective other importing countries. And testing of new drugs is also been approved by the CDSCO. So while this is the CDSCO is the central, what does the state does? The state licensing authorities, they are the persons who give the licensing for the manufacturing side for drugs including API and finished products. You should clearly differentiate and see here the CDSCO gives only a no objection certificate or NOC for a new drug. But basically, once we get the NOC for a new drug based on our research and based on our submission by the respective companies, based on those NOCs, the state licensing authority gives the drug licenses for either formulation or for the API. And licensing of establishment for sale, like a medical shop, the stockists, distributors, all these licenses are given by the state licensing authorities. Testing laboratories licenses are also given by the state licensing authorities, and they go on periodical rounds and visits for monitoring of quality of drugs and cosmetics, and also storage. They look at monitoring of quality by they draw samples from the market and test the quality. At the same time, they also monitor the storage and the facilities of the manufacturing site or the laboratory or the drug stores or the stockist or the distributors. Investigation and prosecution in respect of contravention of legal provisions are also being done by the state licensing authority, and recall of substandard drugs are also being done by the state licensing authorities. To give you a snapshot on what are the recent developments, streamlining of drug licenses issued by SLA, not approved by DCGA, has been streamlined so perfectly by the CDSCO, and this has given a big list of approved and also a list of banned drugs in the country, which are streamlined properly now. And online applications, all our submissions now in the last 3 years have become online through the Sugam portal. So there is no requirement of personal submission at all at the drug drug authority in Delhi. And e-pharmacy, it is still a contention and it is yet to get into proper formulation, proper form. Clinical Trial Establishment Acts, this new regulation which was brought in 2019, sets a clear good balance between the CRO and the subjects, that is the patients who are going to get these trial drugs. And new labeling guidelines from time to time are being done properly by the CDSU, and this gives a good benefit. And in all these measures are done ultimately to the benefit of the patients. Let me move on to FFSI. This is something that not many of you would be knowing, so I will take a little extra slide here to tell you more about this. FFSI is basically Food Safety Standards Authority of India. What is the need for this legislation is something people should understand. There are 9 different laws and 8 different ministries governing this food sector. Laws framed by different ministries or departments with different perspective and enforcement approach. Overlapping laws with different quality standards and labeling requirements. It was a great concern. So the need for new law was for removal of multiple regulation, harmonization with international law. Like how internationally all the food products are governed by one regulation. So the harmonization was done based on that. Framing regulatory requirements based on science and risk analysis and not based on the need of each department. Facilitating trade without compromising consumer safety. Ultimately, if you take a drug or a food, the consumer benefit is always the first priority, and that is why these laws were bought. Before 2015, these were the regulations which were governing the foods. There was a fruit products order, there was a milk and milk products order, there was the Agriculture Produce Act, Meat Producer Order, there was the Export Quality Control Inspection, Standards Weight, Vegetable Oil Products, Edible Oil Order, so many. And for food, like what is more concerned, nutraceutical and health supplements are covered under the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954, and there was a lot of confusion in this as well. And it was by the Department of Health and it was governed by the state. It was not governed by the central. There is no central act on this. So the FFSI was bought in 2015 to ensure that all food meets consumers' expectations in terms of nature, substance, quality, and is not misleading prices. Now, to explain to you what I mean in simple terms, what all covers under FFSI. Whatever is consumed by human, be it a mineral water or a bottled water or a nutraceutical or a health supplement or a dietary supplement or a genetically modified food or your atta or packed food or anything that the human consumes is now except drug is covered under the FFSI, and no parentals is covered under the FFSI. But other category of foods in forms of tablets, capsules, powders, liquid, drops are also covered under the FFSI provided they are forming part of the Act. The Act covers activities throughout the food distribution chain. And how does it cover? It starts from the street vendor. FFSI gives license to the street vendors as well, to the railways as well, for the selling of food or storing of food or supply of food, and to the FBOs, food business operators. We are called as food business operators. Like a manufacturer of nutraceutical is called a food business operator. So to all of them, they give license. They give license for storage. They give license for distribution. They give license for selling. They give license for manufacturing. And since this act is very new, only 5 years old, they took the advantage of the information technology, and from the beginning it has been online, and there is no face-to-face touch with any of the persons required here. Everything is online, including getting a license or renewal or addition of product or inclusion of a product or inclusion of a brand name. There was a seamless transition from PFA, that is food the previous act of PFA to the FFSI has been taken place, and we are very healthy now. Food safety and standards regulation was complied in 1st January 2018, And this is the regulation. The FFSI is a big area, but now coming related to our subject of our pharmaceutical, or to what is required for our faculty, is the one single act called the Food Safety and Standards, Food or Health Supplements, Nutraceuticals, Food for Special Dietary Uses, Food for Special Medical Purposes, Functional Foods, and Novel Food Regulations, was complied from 1st January 2018. So this is the act which all of us follow as a manufacturer. Because if you take any drug manufacturer, any pharmaceutical company in this country, most of them or all of them manufacture both drug products under the Drug and Cosmetic Act, as well as nutraceuticals and health supplements under the FFSA regulation. If you take, if I have to talk about our company, we produce 50% of both. Our multivitamins comes under the FFSI, and our paracetamol comes under the drug. So that is the purpose why I told we need to know about the FSI as well, which is may or may not be covered in many of your your subjects. This gives scope for a huge range of nutraceutical products with more than 1,000 ingredients approved for usage. It's a greatest challenge and badly required skilled manpower like pharmacists. The one, as I told you, pharmacists are required here, and we are approaching the respective ministries to include the pharmacist as a basic criteria, and one of the basic criteria to join in the FSI. But however, I would like to convey here. I'm sorry. What I would like to convey here, this regulation, which was brought in 2018, has got a big list. I will show you in the subsequent slide. Big list of ingredients, and unlike drug, there is no, you need not get an NOC or something from the central authority or something. They have put this list in there is in the website. They brought in a gazette notification as well. And these ingredients, you need to pick and choose and then give your stability data, or without that you can always apply for online application to include your nutraceutical product in the FSI website. So you have 1,000 ingredients to choose, and fortunately India is known for its herbal strength. There are more than 400 herbal ingredients also included as nutraceuticals in this regulation. So as I told you, this was published in 2016 in harmony with Section 22 of the FSA Act, covering a wide inventory of approved functional food ingredients and permissible additives, includes 8 categories of foods and 8 schedules covering the permissible ingredients and additives. I am now touching only what is related to our pharma faculty, and 8 categories of foods that are covered under this act is health supplements, nutraceuticals, food for special dietary use, food for special medical purposes, specialty food containing plant or botanicals, foods containing probiotics, foods containing prebiotics, and novel foods. And 8 schedules under the regulation. Schedule 1 contains vitamins, minerals, and their components, and Schedule 2 contains amino acids. Schedule 3 vitamins, minerals, and trace elements allowed to be used in food for special dietary use and food for special medical purposes. And Schedule 4 contains plants or botanical ingredients. 4 ingredients are included in the regulation, as I told you before. And Schedule 5 is the list of permissible additives that you can add in your tablet or capsule, or in your liquid, or in your drops or powder, whatever it is. And Schedule 6 is a very interesting subject as far as pharmacist is concerned, because this covers a host of nutraceuticals, and probiotics, which is one of the main boom happening in the country. You can see probiotics are now added to every food. Probiotic curd, probiotic ice cream, probiotic chocolate, probiotics in Horlicks, probiotic in Boost, everything is there. So probiotic, there is a list of probiotics also covered under this regulation, and prebiotic food also is covered. Functional food, general guideline for regulation is functional food shall not include any other food categories other which are not there part of this. Dosage forms can be capsule, tablet, pill, sachet, jelly, or gel, semi-solids, anything. Quantity of nutrients added to the articles. There is a guidelines given how much quantity that you can add and what is the permissible limit. And as far as vitamins, minerals, amino acids are concerned, you need to follow the RDA, that is recommended daily allowance, which is prepared by the ICMR and published in the website. So this is all I have to talk about the food regulation. Now let me move on to the next one, that is the Drugs Price Control Order 2013. This is again a very interesting subject and important milestone taken by the government of India at that point of time. Before this, basically, this drug price control order was established in the year 1995, and 74 bulk drugs were covered under this regulation. Out of the 74 bulk, so when you use any one of this bulk drug in a formulation, there is a price given, and this now has been enlarged to 348 molecules and 654 formulations. Previously, prices were fixed based on previously the prices were fixed by the government based on some calculation, and that is why out of the 74 bulk drugs, you would notice most of these were not at all available anymore in India, and we basically import them because they were not viable anywhere in India, and some wise decision were taken to remove those bulk drugs and only seal the pricing of formulations which are consumed in large by the public. So prices are fixed based on the basis of simple average of all the marketed formulations above 1% market share. To give you some example, let us take there are 1,000 brands in paracetamol. So what the DPCO 2013 says is they will take all the brands which are having a market share of more than 1% in that market. Let us take 1,000 crores is the market share of paracetamol. Whichever brands have got the market share of more than 1%, they will take those brands. Add all the MRPs of those brands and divide by the number of brands, and that will be the basis of the pricing. And then we will add the GST to that and include. So these prices, once fixed, can be allowed to be increased only by wholesale price index every year. Once this price is fixed and given every year, then what comes into a play, based on the country's economy, the wholesale price index is introduced or released by the Ministry of Finance every year in the month of February. And based on this wholesale price index, from April of the every year, you can increase or decrease. The wholesale price index can sometimes be negative based on the health of the nation, and sometimes it would be positive based on the health of the nation. Based on this wholesale price index, the prices can take an increase or decrease every April. And for all other formulations, that is apart from the 654 formulations, all other formulations appearing in this country as a drug cannot be priced as we wish. After launch, while launching you can fix your own price, but after launching you cannot increase based on some other reason or any other reason to 15% or double the price. They have capped with 10%. So every 12 months preceding 12 months period, after that only you can take a 10% increase. So the basic concept of DPCO is control the essentials and cap the rest of the formulations. This is a vast difference between the DPCO 1995 and DPCO 2013. DPCO 1995 is governed by Essential Commodities Act. It is governed by the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority (NPPA) based on the national list of essential. Previously, the 74 drugs which were taken, basically the 74 drugs which were taken in 1995 were without any rationale, whereas this 652 drugs which is taken in 2013 is based on the list of essential medicines prepared by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. If once the prices are fixed, they cannot be changed as per the act, that is the previous act. But now, based on the simple average price, the highest prices can be lowered depending on the margins. Ceiling and non-ceiling prices, I have already explained. This act facilitates win-win situation, whereas the prices of the drugs are fixed by the mutual agreement of the government and the industries for the welfare of the patients. I would not talk more on this because this is too technical for one to understand. But if I have to tell you, those selling a higher MRP shall bring down the MRP if it is as notified by the NPPA. So every prices will be nearly the same. And out of this 348 drugs which I told you, the price, suppose your MRP after fixation of this price is more, then you have to bring it down. When your MRP is lower, you need to retain that. But when your MRP is higher, You need to bring it to the lower one when whatever MRP is fixed by the NPPA. Imported drug ceiling price shall be applicable as common as even if you import, if the product is under the price control, then that is applicable. Monitoring of MRP of non-scheduled drugs is periodically done by DPCO, and notices are being sent for violation as well. I'm coming to the last part of my presentation. This is the last slide of my presentation. We have seen only three important regulations. One is drug regulation, one is food regulation, and is a price regulation. But as a pharmacist, these are the other regulations. One, I cannot say you should be master of everything in this, but you need to know the basic of all these regulations when you come out and join an industry, or when you come out and join any in your job. You need to basically know all these regulations. Intellectual property right, patents, copyrights, and trademark. This is the basic property of any industry or an institution like your Jain University. What is your property? Is my brand. My brand is a property. If I take my brand Astamin or Bifilac, this brand name is the property of the company. The compositions can change. But the brand name is the property of the country. So, property of the company. So, it is important that you need to know about the intellectual property rights, and especially as a pharmacist, it is important to know. If you are in research, it is important to know about patents. If you are in trade, you need to importantly know about trademarks. That these two things are very important for you to know. The next regulation is Legal Metrology Act. Especially for drugs, it doesn't form under the Legal Metrology Act, but all your nutraceuticals, whatever governed by the food, your nutraceutical products and your health supplements are covered under the Legal Metrology Act. If I have to tell you in simple words to make you understand, I'm not talking you need to go through the entire Legal Metrology Act and get confused. There is only one section in that which is related to our nutraceutical products, which basically tells the weights and measures. What they say, you cannot bring in a 221 gram pack, or you cannot bring in a 1.3 gram pack. That's what they say. Basically, if you see Horlicks, it is either in 100 grams or 1 kg. If you take Boost, it is in a container of 500 grams or 1 kg. Similarly, your nutraceutical products also, if it is a powder, let us take it is a collagen powder, then you cannot have it in 300 grams pack or 100. They have given packs. Below 50 grams, you can have any packs, any based on the any mg pack. But above 50 grams, you cannot have 150 grams pack. You can have 100 or 200 or 400 and 500, and not 300. So these are the different regulations this Legal Metrology Act covers. Clinical trial rules, people who are interested to go into research and also who are interested to move into the CRO, kindly go to the new Clinical Trials Establishment Act, which is beneficial for you to get into a CRO, or if you are in PharmD as well, you will always cover this in your syllabus, and this will be useful for you to get into a CRO. NDPS, it is astonishing that you will know this Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act is not covered under the Health Ministry, and it is covered under the Department of Finance and Revenue. But this is an important act. Narcotic, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, if I were to tell you example of some of the drugs, codeine. All of you must be knowing a very well known brand, Corex, which no more is available as a combination. It is only available as codeine phosphate. Codeine, morphine, pethidine, all these forms under this. And tramadol is also now coming under this. So you need to know a light bit about this act as well. Medical devices rules and regulations. If you are interested, there is a new regulation for medical devices, and the scope of medical devices is no more 9. It is no more gloves and your surgical suture and your stent. It covers all the medical devices, all your surgical instruments, all are covered under this. And apart from engineers, there are pharmacists' role very important, because engineers can make the machine, but ultimately the quality of the machine can be done and tested only by pharmacists. That is why these regulations and also has included pharmacists as a basic qualification to have into them. The Ministry of Environment and Forests, as I told you in the earlier slides, they cover the pollution for genetic engineering, pollution especially for API industries, Biological Diversity Act. When we start using herbal drugs, then this act comes into picture. They govern and ensure that you don't destroy the environment of this country. And MSMD, this is more for entrepreneur. When you are looking at entrepreneurship as a career, then this micro, small, and medium enterprise development act is very important for you to start up, because there are a lot of benefits that you get from the government when you start as an entrepreneur or a startup. So the you now some may have got confused that there are so many acts in this country for a pharmaceutical, but what is important is not to get confused but to know each one of them and make it very meaningful for all of us to be purposeful in our industry as you pass out or as you teach to the students. So the field of Indian pharma has got several challenges like COVID, but several strengths. Again, COVID is proving to be that we are coming out of COVID either by the number of cases or by bringing in a vaccine. And there are several opportunities. India has now got several opportunities, especially pharmacists have got several opportunities. The pharmacists are employed in every place now. In IT industry, because IT industry becomes a boon for a CRO. So an IT industry requires a pharmacist who's well trained in clinical trials and drugs to be into that play. And you can see in TCS, in Infosys, many companies have a plethora of pharmacists, and I have many of my friends and colleagues who work there as well. With proper strategy, the Indian pharmaceutical fraternity can face all the challenges and encash and opportunities. India will continue to be the pharmacy of the world to cater to the needs of all countries. So every challenge is to be converted as a strength and opportunity. And before the thank you slide, remember, leaders believes, leaders inspires, leaders listens, learns, cares, empowers, unites, guides, and leads from the front successfully. And thank you to the Jain University for giving this wonderful opportunity and listening to a pharmacist on the National Pharmacy Week celebration. Thank you very much, and I'll be happy to take any questions if you have. Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions?
Yes, sir. One question from my side. Bit doubt in FSDU and FSMP.
Yeah. Please tell. Okay.
Just need a clarification. FSDU and
Food for special dietary use is FSDU.
Yeah.
What is this dietary use? Like for gym goers, protein powders, they use those come under the special category. Special dietetic use for a special dietetic purpose, you use those ingredients. They don't form part of a nutraceutical. For example, if you say for a lactating mother, you require a protein powder. It is for special dietary use. And the difference in food for special medical purpose is different. Medical purpose, let us say for hair fall, you give a vitamin and mineral in a concentration for mentioning the purpose of medical use. For hair fall, or for a diabetic patient, or for a cardiac patient, you give it is again a nutraceutical product or a food product, but you give for a special medical use. So you claim in both the packs, whether it is dietary use, you claim the purpose in the pack. Whereas in a nutraceutical, general vitamin product, if I have, I cannot write in that it is can be used for that, for anesthesia, or for that and this thing. Whereas in dietary use product, you specifically mention the purpose for it is used for, and you give an indication. Whereas it is not given like that in any of the food products. When you take Boost, you don't find an indication in that.
Yeah.
When you take Horlicks, you don't find an indication there. But when you take Protein X, which is a powder, which is given, which is stored in medical shops for lactating children, you have an indication there. That is for special dietetic use. And similarly, for hair fall, for diabetic patients, when you mention the patient condition, then it is for medical use.
Thank you,
Hope I
sir.
have clarified your point.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So many new things we get to know, sir, because we people are very poor in regulatory affairs. We are not in touch with that one.
Okay.
Uh, and very interesting that one is NDPS comes under finance and revenue.
Yeah, that is pathetic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is a need for a ministry which can govern entire pharmaceutical,
Yes,
and
sir.
that will the growth. And this is, and we as the theme of the National Pharmacy Week says, pharmacists are the frontline workers. So it is for us to basically uh, voice our rights,
Right, sir.
the right platform, and then only pharmacists will be duly recognized. I cannot say they are not duly recognized. They are duly recognized in many places, but still we are a long way to go for all the pharmacists to be recognized, and especially by the government. You can
And
talk. I would like to just give a small comparison.
please, sir.
It is only the pharmaceutical, be it the institution or the industry, which is without the support of any government, is thriving high and doing extremely good.
Yes,
You
sir.
take any other industry is dependent on government, whereas pharmaceutical, be it the industry or the institution, private plays a major role. Government doesn't play a major role. When you
Yes,
see
sir.
the number of government colleges of pharmacy, the private colleges outbeat. If you see universities, the number of universities outbeat the number of pharmacies colleges as well. And if you take industry, when I was a student, I was told there is one IDPL,
Yeah.
and there is no IDPL thriving anywhere in the country today.
Yes.
And there is only one public sector or two public sector companies available in the country today. It
Yes.
is the it is, pharmaceutical is the one industry which is not dependent on the government. We are dependent on the government to only help us not disturb the growing momentum. And that help government has done is through Pharmexcel by promoting Indian drugs through Pharmexcel. That is one good thing happening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Smriti ma'am. Any other questions from fraternities of pharma and any other departments who are joining this?
So one of the student is having a question. He is asking that having this many ministries, can it be possible that it act as a loophole in pharmaceutical industry?
Yeah, I will. It's a very good question because the youth or the youngsters today are more concerned about the loopholes, and I also appreciate this question to a greater extent to whoever student who has asked this. Yes, there will be a loophole. That is why we are fighting to get a ministry which can be a single doorstep, and the honorable prime minister has formed a committee under the aegis of Niti Aayog member Dr. Vinod Paul, who takes care of health under health. Under Niti Aayog, there are 7 members, and under Niti Aayog, Dr. Vinod Paul takes care of health. Under his chairmanship, with DOP, with the secretaries of pharmaceuticals, health, and others, has formed a brainstorming with industry association also participation into that, to bring in one, either every subject or every department should come under one ministry, or the DOP should take over all the departments. So this is what is brainstormed. It is not very far. By the time my dear student would come out with flying colors, I'm sure that we will have a department of a ministry of pharmaceuticals like any other country, or a ministry for a proper, a ministry for a fruitful intervention in pharmaceuticals, which will really come in a very future. And we are not very far from that. I'm sure I have answered your concern query. I think your query was more concern rather than a question.
Yes, sir.
And yes, I agree it is a concern.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I hope that his question is answered. Are we having any more questions from any other batches?
Okay, ma'am. You can proceed.
Thank you, sir, for your words of inspiration. Thank you for the knowledge that you have given to us. Though it's a very short time, and firstly, it's on virtual event. So, I, on behalf of School of Pharmacy, would request you to kindly spare some time from your schedule and visit our university over here in Jamshedpur, so that
Sure.
if any other students or any other faculties or staffs is having any queries, can interact with you directly, and it will be a good discussion. I hope so.
Once all of us get a
So,
vaccine,
thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, sir,
once all of us get
definitely.
a vaccine, I will definitely come to Jamshedpur.
Yeah, sir. Sure, sir. Thanks a lot, sir, for the session. Now I would request our Dean, sir, to kindly give the small token of appreciation to Satish, sir.
Yes, ma'am. A token of appreciation, sir, on behalf of Arkajain University School of Pharmacy. Please accept, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. It was very pleasant morning today, sparing a valuable time with you.
Please, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
madam.
you, everyone, for the.
And have a great Diwali. And let's fight COVID and get a vaccine soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for this gathering in today's event of the first day of National Pharmacy Week. For tomorrow's event, we have with us Sri S.V. Viramani, sir. He is the founder and chairman of Force India Laboratories Private Limited. It will be a great honor for every one of us to have him with us in our virtual platform. Coming to the end of the session, I now request everyone to stand in their respective places for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, everyone. So I would request everyone to kindly be present for the tomorrow's session, sharp at 10:30 a.m. And students are requested to be active in YouTube. And the students, it's a request to come up with as many questions as possible, because you are getting an opportunity to interact, although virtually, with the experts of industries. So I would request a number of questions from your side from tomorrow. So thank you, everyone, and thanks for attending today's session.
Yes, ma'am. Please unmute all your videos. Everyone, please unmute your videos. That should be recorded. That's why I am telling. For the recording purpose. Mute your audios and unmute your videos. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you. Thank you.